Richard, I'll start with you. And you guys can we'll piggyback. Anna, I would love to hear from Grace after this. The film plays with like a lot of paranoia and perception in a way that feels deliberate. Was your original idea, or what was your original idea or image that sparked Dead Eyes for you? And for the talent, if you guys can kind of talk about your expectations and your thoughts once Richard relayed everything to you.
Well, my original idea was like the idea of this ghostly little girl in a forest. That like I'd been to that forest before that we shot.
I don't know if you should tell people that, but that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this is actually like a biography. This is a standard camping trip in Australia. No, but just the idea of seeing a ghostly little girl, that's something that like image was sort of the base point, like the jumping off point for the entire thing. And, you know, bringing in the afterlife was kind of like, I'd had nightmares similar to that. And that sort of, you know, combining that with tragedy, like real horror is losing someone. And I thought, you know, the best way to create a realistic base for a story that's so out of this world is to put real horror. So yeah, that was my inspiration.
Awesome. So Anna, tell me about your character and when you were first given script, story, ideas, and concepts, kind of what did you think going into the project?
Yeah, when I first started talking to Richard about it, I was really drawn into the fact that underneath all the horror was an exploration of grief. And this is really what drives Sean, drives his father. And I loved that it was grounded in something like an emotional truth. But it was also very interesting from Grace's perspective because she experiences Sean's grief and she has grief of her own because it's fracturing their relationship.
Right.
So she's a driving factor in his journey. Unfortunately for Sean, because you know it doesn't end up very well, but she is a driving force for the story, which I thought was great to explore.
Awesome. And then Misha, like I'm when I watched the film, you had way too much fun with this character. So how excited were you to be a part of this production? Because I could just see it coming through the screen. You were having too much fun with this character.
This was like the funnest thing I think I've ever done. I actually love playing Lily so much. I think she's such a fun character. And like, I've said this before, but like playing that like alien and like robotic type of person with the movements of like a real human being was really cool to explore. Like, oh, she's like really cute and innocent, but she's actually like really evil and like terrible. So yeah, I thought that was really fun.
Okay. And Ryan, what about you? We get to see a lot of wonderful shots of your shoes in the film.
It is. Not in mine, that's the thing, yeah. No, my first thoughts when I sort of got pitched the idea was, so I'm not going to be seen. Like, no way. Why would I do that? No, I'm
Next project.
No, I'm a big fan of, you know, the horror video game inspirations that it's based off. So the idea of doing a film with those inspirations in mind was a no-brainer for me. So yeah.
So let's talk about some independent filmmaking challenges. You know, here at South by Southwest, there's they champion the small film, the independent features. So Richard, I'm sorry, what was some of the biggest things you wanted to aspire to get the message across for Dead Eyes? Like, what were some of the key points you wanted to hit right off the bat when you started filming?
Well, like as you said, like independent films, like if you're doing it first person film, I think the only one I've seen is 2 GoPros. And I went, nah, screw that. I want to put a cinema camera on some guy's head. And, you know, maybe he'll be shorter a couple of inches after the shoot. No, we went ahead and did like the most difficult thing. Like we had 4 people as the character of Sean.
Yeah.
You know, the guy carrying the camera,
right,
the guy carrying the body of the camera,
right,
the boom operator, and Ryan following them around. So coordinating that, like he'd have to look behind him and everyone would have to either run around or duck or like if you're in a confined space, it was the technical issues, but That's the funnest part of it, just sort
Yeah.
of figuring it all out.
Yeah, it's grimy, it's raw,
Yes.
and that's what works. With Grace's character, Anna, for some reason, you have to be almost like the voice of reason at a lot of times. How similar to your own persona does Grace kind of embody, or are you completely different? Because Grace also has got some issues too, because she's the good one, but then she's also kind of jumping into the fire a lot. So I'm curious to how close you are to that character.
Look, I'm a Libra. So, no, I'm a Libra moon. So basically, I do tend to be a bit of a voice of reason, like around with my friends. But, you know, that sort of balance.
Yeah, I dated some Libras. Y'all are crazy.
Okay,
Yeah, just go ahead and say, just go ahead. Just let it, just tell us the truth. Right. Just tell us the truth.
But I'm a Gemini sun. So there we go. That means you guys don't understand.
No.
For horoscope people out there, nothing else needs to be said.
Yeah. So dive right in.
Mhm.
Two sides of the same coin, basically. So I love like playing that duality
Awesome.
of Grace.
Misha, when you were doing Lily's character, I'm curious to if you went after a couple references, maybe possibly looked at some films and some certain characters, like, you know, like an Exorcist character or something like that, what were your points of motivation to create Lily in the way that she was?
There was the reference of The Ring,
Okay.
which was obviously she's dark haired, not blonde haired, but
Yeah.
that like I thought that was really cool. She's always like in the shadows, her hair's covering her face, obviously, and she just jumps out of the screen. So I referenced that a little bit, but then also she's so different to any other kind of character in the fact that she's like not really real. So I kind of wanted to so I watched that, and then I also just did my own little things, like I did a lot of like subtle movements of like with my eyes and like blank stares, and
Yeah, I gave it the direction of like it's basically like an alien trying to figure out a human body
For sure.
the first time. So she did it amazingly.
Ryan, what's your advice to young actors who will aspire to be in films where they're not actually on camera at all? What is your advice? How do you make it work?
I think the most important thing, whether you're on camera or off, is a good community of connections and fostering that. As in regard to being off camera, I don't think it changes too much. I think I was doing the same thing as I would have done if I was on camera anyway. So those technical things that you learn in acting school are there for a reason. So
Awesome.
Remember the basics.
How excited were you guys to have the film play in front of an audience, and what were your feelings after the film? Ryan, go ahead and start, and then we'll just go down the line.
Oh, it was crazy. Like it was, I barely done any ADR, so I hadn't really seen much of it at all. So just seeing it all come together and how Richard pulled it off was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, these guys hadn't seen it before the premiere.
Awesome.
Yesterday, so didn't have a technical screening. It was amazing to see reactions, hearing people laugh at things that I was like, ooh, it's a horror. That's like
You're not supposed to laugh at that.
Hearing people laugh at the stuff that's funny, like because it is pretty funny at parts.
Right.
That's the stuff that I go, ooh, yeah.
Awesome,
and
awesome.
Hearing the gasps and the laughs and the audience reaction, but then also reacting in real time myself, because that was the first time I saw it. It was amazing, and also being playing the character of Grace. I wasn't a part of the horror, so for me, watching the rest and seeing the horror play out was really, really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was also gonna say watching the scenes that like I wasn't in, especially like it was just very funny with like Charles.
Well, folks, thank you guys so much. Best of luck with everything with Dead Eyes. We already got our review up on the website. Hopefully you guys get a chance to read it, but best of luck at the rest of the festival and then the rest of the screenings and everything from that point on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
man.
you.
Very welcome. Thank you guys.